we're going to do next is we're going to join 2 of the 2x4s in the bottom and then 1 on the top in the middle. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We want to be looking at it from this edge. You're going to use the move tool, which is this one right here. If these weren't components, you'd have to highlight the whole thing, but because these are components that are already locked in, you can select specific points on here to marry them up to these. We're going to go like this. We're going to select the top corner and of the 2x4, and then we're going to come over here and we're going to move it down to lock it into the bottom corner of this. Notice that it's flush on this side and it's flush along this edge. It's like that. Okay. We're going to let's set all the 2x4s first. So now I need to go to the opposite edge like this. We're still in the move tool. I'm using the top corner that's closest to this board. I'm going to select and then zoom out. With a mouse, it's really easy to just roll up. Okay. And to get this to lock in, you're going to just go right along the edge. So you pick a corner and then you can just move it up and down. It will lock it right into there. Just like that. So now we have 2 on the bottom. Make it resemble this. Now we'd have to do 1 in the middle, in the very dead center of this. So here's how we're going to do this to make it line up in the middle. We're going to go zoom out. We're going to zoom into this, and we want to be on the bottom edge this time. We're going to find that midpoint of this, and it should lock into the midpoint right there, and even says midpoint, just like that. We're going to zoom out. We're going to go along the top edge right here, just like this, and then it should actually lock right in to go right to that point. Now these are locked in. Okay. So you see how I did that? Okay. We're going to hit escape so it doesn't lock all that stuff in. Now we need to grab the next joist, which is right here. Okay. We're going to grab hold of this. And we're going to move this to right there. Okay. And if we zoom out, you'll see that it locks in. If everything stayed parallel, it locks everything in. Okay. Next, we're going to go to the midpoint of this board. We're going to find the midpoint along this edge right here, just like this. And we'll zoom out. Right now, I grabbed hold of the midpoint. And we're going to find the midpoint along this edge, just like that. Now, if you look at this, and if we were to measure, the distance from here to this inside corner will be the exact same distance from here to here. It's in the dead center, just like that. Okay. So there we go. We have it done so far. What we're going to do next is we're going to use that 1 3/4 line that we drew. We're going to grab a hold of that using our move tool. And we're going to hover over top of, see something we have to edit on the component. Hit escape. What we need to do is we need to go to here. We're going to go to the selection tool. We're going to click on the 2x4. We're going to right click and we're going to put edit component. What we need to do is we can leave it right where it is. All we got to do is draw a line in 1.5 inches because we want the 1.5. We want this 2x6 that we're putting on here. We want that to meet up right with this. We need to do this on both sides of it. Go to the midpoint, draw in 1.5, hit escape. Okay. Then we will rotate around and do the same thing. We can hit escape and then go here, click off of that. We'll do the same thing on this one, edit component, and we're going to draw 1.5 inches on the bottom on the face. And if we do it to this one, it will also do it to that one over there, which is going to be helpful. So we're going to move in like this and 1.5, It automatically might lock in, but we can type it in 1.5. Okay, and then hit escape. We'll come back to that. We'll show you where that's going to be relevant in a second. So just draw that on there, just like that. To get into edit the component, you use your arrow, right click on the component and hit edit component, and then it will automatically change it in every single one. So if we drew 1.5 inches on that one, it's automatically going to be on the next one. You see that this one is, if I zoom in, you see we drew 1.5 inch line there. We edited the component. Any components that get edited will, as long as they're the same ones, they will change on all of them. Okay. Now the next part. The reason we did that, here's exactly why we did that. We're going to grab the move tool. We're going to grab a hold of this. And we're going to zoom out. And we're going to zoom in. I need to rotate up a little bit and zoom out. Okay, so you can see it. So we go to here and then move it backwards just a little bit. Another thing you could do is you could do this corner right here. And then you're going to put that on the midpoint or right at the end of the line that we just drew, just like that. Okay. It's kind of confusing, but we did it. Okay. So what we'll do next is we're going to rotate this. One of the reasons why we drew those lines 1.5 inches or 1.75 inches in is so that when we rotate this, we can use that as a pivot point, and it will stay locked into this area. We'll be able to rotate that down. So instead of using the move tool, we're going to use the protractor. So it's the rotation tool right here. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to get the red protractor up. We want to select right here in that corner. And now it's going to be anywhere else we select on this 2x6, it will rotate off of that corner. So now we can move it down like this. Whoops, it's selecting a plane. I want to do the whole thing. So we will actually want to rotate that. Escape. Whoops, that's why it's selecting the wrong one. Make sure that your 2x6 is lit up like this one is. We'll select on the end, and then we'll just rotate this down until we get to the top, until this one meets up with the bottom of that. So we'll rotate it just like this. Looks like 12 degrees is what we want to do. You could literally type in 12. Not quite 12. We need to be a little bit. Nope, 12 would be perfect. Type in 12 and hit enter. It would lock it in right where we need it to be. So now that should be resting. We could come up a little bit more. It might be 11.95 or something like that, but we'll just leave it like this. This will be fine. Lock it in to get it to where we want it to be. Okay. Next, we're going to be doing the same thing on the rest of what we'll have to go in and edit this again. But let's get the outsides first. We'll do all 4 outsides first. So we're going to go back to the move tool again. We're going to click on this bottom corner like this. And then we're going to zoom in to lock it in at the end of that 1.5 inch line that we drew. There, it locked in. Once it locks in, you can click on it. And then zoom back out again. We're going to use the rotate again. Make sure that the 2x6 is lit up. So you click on there, and then anywhere on this, really, you can click on it and the whole thing will rotate down. And we did 12 again. That'll lock it in. Notice that it stayed where this is. We'll worry about that middle board in a second. Let's do the other side now. I'll click on, get the move tool again. Click on this. And then we'll do this end right here like we just did. Lock it in here first. Now it's locked in. Now we're going to use a rotate tool. Make sure we're highlighted, the 2x6 is highlighted. We're going to click on that, and literally you can click anywhere. And then we'll type in 12 again, hit enter. Get that to go, if we did this correctly, and it should line up perfectly just like that. Look at there. Just going to do one more. So this time we're going to rotate around like this because we need to be on this side of it. We're going to use the move tool. Change this to here. We're going to click on this edge, this bottom corner here. Zoom out. Then we're going to zoom in to this area right here. Click on it. Move it off to the side. Rotate. We're going to start here in that corner because we want that to be our pivot point. You can literally click anywhere on the edge, same edge, as long as it's the same edge. We'll type in 12, hit enter. They're all facing the exact same way. If you look at that, if we zoom out, it should look identical, and it does. Okay. Now, the last thing we got to do is we got to come into here, and you wouldn't necessarily need to edit the component. You can just draw right on here. Where this line meets up, we're going to go up like this, and then we're going to draw a line across like that. That's the same thing as making the midpoint. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Draw a line up and then draw it across. Because we'll put one on this side and we'll put one on the opposite side going the other way. Okay. So we'll zoom out just like this. Hit escape. We're going to grab the move tool. And we'll do this one first. So we're going to change this to move. We're going to zoom into here. Just like that. We got the corner right now. I'm going to put it in the midpoint of the line that I just drew on the face of that, just like this. Okay, and now we're going to do that rotate again. When it turns blue and we have the red protractor, we're going to go to that, whoops, escape. Escape. I'm going to go to here, up. It's got to be in a different angle so it doesn't change the face of that. So I want to be here. Oh, don't do that. I want you to be up, 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 face. No, don't do that. This is hard. What we're going to do, let's find the midpoint then. Go lock in the mid. No, because that, I don't know if that will work. Work. It should work. Type in 12. Enter. Still on there. Yep. Perfect. That worked. Okay. Need to zoom out. I'm rolling down with my mouse. Okay. This time we're going to scroll out. Okay. And we're going to pick up the board on this corner right here. We're going to go to move. And we're going to click on that. And then we'll move it out and Put it on the opposite side. Find that midpoint right there. Lock it in. Then we'll zoom over here like this. Then we're going to go to change this to rotate. Make sure we're on the same face. And as long as you are on the same plane, it should rotate. Do 12, enter. And now all of those should be locked into place. Okay. To make this a component so we don't lose the shape of this, we're going to go like this. We're going to highlight the whole thing. Right click. Make component. Bridge. BRIDGE frame. Now we have a bridge frame with the bridge framed out. Okay. We're going to try to cut these off. I'm going to see if this is a part where I know I'm going to have to play with it, see how it's going to work. If you guys can get to this point, I'd be super happy. But let's try to continue right now. I'm going to go like this. We're going to hit escape. Let's go to the arrow first. Let's click on just this board. A component. Click on this. Make unique. Let's see if I can go like this. So if I edit this like this and hit escape and then go to push pull, Control Z, Control Z. I'm not sure what to do from here. Kind of stumped. Hit escape. Even if you do push pull on this, you can't do it. You can't change it. Let's just get to this. If you guys can build this, we'll be good. And I'll play around with trying to figure out how to manipulate it so we can get the tops cut off to make it look like the bridge that we have. If you guys can get to here, that would be awesome. We could start